Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Libra January 4, 2023. Venus enters your home and family sector today, where it will transit until the 26th. It's a fine transit for smoothing and softening your personal life, home, and family. There can be more harmony, diplomacy, balance, or beauty in your home environment. You're a little more protective of your heart in the weeks ahead. Taking this time to connect with and learn about your inner needs can be most rewarding. Aim to build your confidence rather than push your boundaries during this cycle. People tend to be stuck in their issues in the first half of today. Fortunately, you're heading towards some beautiful changes, and you may need to deal with some doubt before pressing forward. Aim to give yourself some time to recharge after a spell of feeling drained and indecisive. As the day advances, focus on relating happily, kindly, and more joyfully. You'll be inspired for intimate love connections today. As mental Mercury, our cosmic messenger planet of the mind and communication, sings in your solar third house of connection, he'll dance in a sextile with Neptune, the planet of spirituality and soulmates, now orbiting in your solar fifth house of true love and romance. You'll have the perfect words to enchant anyone you meet or seduce a sweetheart to come hither your way. If you can plan a sweet little trip around town with your one and only, you'll enjoy the easy rapport between you as you engage in dialogues that expand both of your minds. Bettering your communication and active listening skills might become your main priority in your work life. Something may arise that clues you into what you may need to improve upon when Mercury retrograde in Capricorn sextiles Neptune in Pisces while the Sun in Capricorn trines the North Node in Taurus. A moment of miscommunication or misreading the tone of the conversation will be your clue as to what you need to work on. It could even lead to a more positive shift with the stability of the fate and destiny of your working relationships. The moon not only returns for its first visit to your financial sector for the year today but with perfect timing. The moon returns to fuel your financial instincts and imagination just as Mars moves into his final 10 days in retrograde motion, but in its early hours will form a friendly aspect to Venus, with the planet of money adding confidence to the mix. Patience is a virtue, but you don't need a lecture on patience per se. Instead, I would caution you to think before you act, or something more along those lines. You may not always be entirely on the mark with things, but you tend to go ahead anyway because you like action. You prefer to be doing something. To cultivate an almost kinetic patience within your body, try endurance sports such as running, swimming, or even power yoga. Pacing yourself will help with your aim. This day offers you many opportunities to build on existing business partnerships. However, do not go rushing in with both barrels blazing, as 2 days require a quiet, laid-back approach in order to move things forward. Do not try to take on the world. Set your sights on one specific goal or course of action and see it through to the end. Utilize your creative nature to develop both your personal and business partnerships. Be wary of stepping on others' toes while you strive to gain stronger footholds. While the moon will leave your relationship sector just minutes later, having it here is making Venus' final hours in your communication sector and of her mission to give your heart and your relationships a voice some of the best. Yet while the moon and Venus will form a friendly aspect today, it won't be here, and instead, they will come together when the moon returns to your financial sector just minutes after Venus returned to your home and family sector. Because the moon won't leave your relationship sector until minutes after Venus leaves your communication sector today, it will be there until the end. This will make the final hours of the planet of love's mission to give your heart and your relationships a voice some of the best. The moon's friendly aspect to Mercury, in his first full week in retrograde motion, even offers a chance to give the past and unsaid words a voice. Our eyes in the sky. Venus enters Aquarius in the evening, allowing us to understand what we desire from a cerebral point of view when it comes to relationships. This transit enables us to take baby steps toward finding what our heart wants as we proceed with caution in romantic matters. The Sun shares a connection with the nodes of destiny, urging us to embrace our confidence, power, passion, and self-esteem as we move through the day. The month starts with Venus entering Aquarius on January 2nd. When the planet of love is in the sign of the water bearer, we can expect a hands-off and aloof approach to expressing our sentiments. Although we want to connect with others, we do so on more of a cerebral level, which involves a meeting of the minds and intellect rather than physical touch. The 6th brings the first full moon of 2023, this one in Cancer, which means that we could undergo an emotional and mental release in the first days of the new year. This is extremely beneficial because we're able to let go of the past and move into a different headspace for the year. This particular full moon can bring up many power struggles and issues from the past, which is why it's a good time to let go of negativity and move forward toward a more positive place. January 12th marks the end of the Mars retrograde that began in Gemini on October 30th, 2022. Now that we've seen situations and relationships from a different perspective, it's up to us to decide how we want to move forward with the information we've gathered. The Mercury retrograde ends on the 18th in Capricorn, allowing us to heal from all the miscommunications and mishaps that we might have experienced with family or when traveling over the holidays. The Sun enters Aquarius on January 20th, just before the new moon in the same sign the next day. Although it's taken a few weeks, we can now begin to see our resolutions for 2023 come to fruition. Uranus in Taurus turns direct on the 22nd, and Venus enters Pisces 4 days later, making the end of the month sweeter than the start as our fantasies and desire for romance peak. In the morning, the Taurus moon squares off with Saturn in Aquarius, perpetuating isolation. We are in a stubborn mood, prepared to dig in our heels and draw out arguments to get our way. Deep down inside, we are probably aware we are making the problem worse by being inflexible. However, we have convinced ourselves that we are sticking to our principles. This heightens contention between ourselves and those in our community who are looking for a progressive solution. Should we resort to temper tantrums, we will wind up regretful of our conduct down the road. After sunup, the Capricorn Sun squares off with Chiron in Aries, stimulating sensitivities. We believe we are not receiving recognition for our hard work or talents. Instead of becoming angry, we feel embarrassed. To maintain a sliver of self-esteem, we can convince ourselves that because we weren't given a break, others shouldn't be either. This logic may be mimicking the voice of an elder figure, perhaps a paternal one who failed to cut us slack in our youth. Try to step back from the immediacy of irritating or frustrating interactions today. Whose voice is in your head? Think of all the healing that you could offer, not only to your inner child, but to those around you, if you chose a different tactic and broke the chain of criticism.